All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. It's Thursday morning. Back at you with some more video clips. Yesterday, if you one of my subscribers, I know they was taking your comments down and they was unsubscribing people, but you know that's what they do when they don't want to hear the message. But I want to show you some clips today. I want you to pay close attention to everything I show you because I want you to see how the Democratic Party, their tricks is not working. So we're going to call this the Black Lives MAGA edition. Check out the shirt. You see it? Black Lives MAGA. Like that shirt. Now, they've been taking uh, Byron Donald's comments out of context. Byron Donald said that during Jim Crow time or era, Black families were more together in a nuclear family structure. The race baiters came out and tried to make that an issue as if they don't realize that before the 70s and the early 80s, there was a nuclear family structure in the Black community that declined under the welfare state and other policies that came along in the community. So I want you to see this interview that CNN did with him. And I want you to tell me if you notice something. If you notice they use the same patterns, the same playbook every time. So watch these clips with me and tell me what you think in the comments. This for fair uses under the 1976 Copyright Act, education, commentary, and the First Amendment. Let's check it out.
Good evening, I'm Abby Phillip in New York, and I want to get right to it tonight. One of Donald Trump's vice presidential contenders, Congressman Byron Donalds, he made some comments that has a lot of you talking and a lot of Democrats fired up. I'm going to speak with him live in just a couple of minutes, but here are the original remarks. They were made as a part of a pitch to Black voters in Philadelphia, and I want you to hear it in its full context. Listen.
I grew up with my mom. My dad and my mom, things didn't work out. As an adult, I look at my father and I say, bro, I don't know what happened. But you my father and I love you. Wow. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Wow. But I'm going to tell you this. Growing up, the one thing I knew I wanted to do, and this is not about my father, this is about what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be a father to myself. Wow. And so one of the things that's actually happening in our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of Black families with younger Black men and Black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a Black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the Black family was together. During Jim Crow, more Black people were not just conservative, because Black people always have been conservative minded, but more Black people voted conservatively. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America the last 10 years, and I say because it's my contemporaries as well as its contemporaries, you're starting to see more Black people be married in homes, raising kids. And so when you home with your wife raising your kids, and then you look at the world, you're saying, oh, wait a minute, time out. This does not look right. How can I get something to my kids? It goes back to the conversation of generational wealth. Not just having a job, generational wealth.
Now, we should note that many Democrats who jumped on Donalds today claimed that he said that Blacks were, quote, better off. As you heard there, he didn't use those exact words in the clip, but the congressman joins me now to talk about that. Congressman, thank you for being here. I want to just focus on really the substance of what you were saying or trying to say in that clip. What did you mean by Black families were more together during Jim Crow?
Frankly, what that is about the empirical fact that before the Great Society, before Lyndon Johnson's policies, there was more black families united. The marriage rate in Black America was significantly higher before the Great Society. The period of time that coincides with that, obviously, is Jim Crow era. And then after the Great Society, the marriage rate in the Black community plummeted significantly. The Great Society is a part of that reason, not completely, but it's definitely a part of that. And what you're seeing right now in America is a reformation of Black families in America. That's a good thing, not only for the Black community and for Black families, but it's also a good thing for the country.
So, what was the point of tying together the Black family and Jim Crow specifically? I mean, Jim Crow, as you know, was a period of racial segregation, of racial terror. Why would you make that connection?
All I was doing was referring to the time periods when you talk about the historical timelines in America and coinciding with Black families and what the marriage rate in Black families are. The overarching point is obviously talking about what polling shows today, that about 20-25% of the Black vote, depending on what poll you're looking at, is leaning towards supporting Republicans and supporting President Trump. The corollary to that is that when you're in a family unit, husband and wife, living together, working together, thriving together, you're raising your kids, your thought process is now talking about building generational wealth. What am I leaving to my children? What kind of communities do I want my children to come up in? What are the educational opportunities? What's going on with the economy? How does, and then to a broader level, how does foreign policy and all these other public policy issues flow into that? And so when you compare the terrible agenda of Joe Biden and what that's done to families in America, coinciding with the fact that you are seeing a reformation of Black families in America today, which is an absolutely wonderful thing and needs to continue. My view is it also coincides with a more conservative leaning and a more conservative mindset politically in those families.
One thing I really want to just get you to address is there were a lot of people who heard what you had to say, and a lot of them are offended by the idea that you would repeat Jim Crow 3 times in your comments, as if to suggest that that was a time period because that Black families were in your work.
She's trying to blur the issue in so many ways and trying to get it to race baiting. She's going to say, oh, you repeated it 3 times like it's Candyman, and if you say it 3 times, it's going to reappear. But clearly, she's pushing an agenda because she heard what he said and she wants to twist his words to make it something that it isn't. So continue to listen.
Together because, in your words, Black people were not just more conservative, they voted more conservatively. That's a good thing. I mean, it sounds like nostalgia. Do you regret using that time frame as a reference?
Nobody ever made nostalgia. That was never the point. It wasn't even about that. So where now I'm going to get my backup is I didn't say that. I didn't even insinuate that. That is where the media and yes, Hakeem Jeffries and a lot of other people are taking.
What exactly didn't you insinuate?
No.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. What didn't you insinuate?
The premise of your question, I did not insinuate. That is what people are trying to weave into what I said. What I said is crystal clear. It's on my social media. Go to @ByronDonalds on X. You can see the full clip. Abby, I appreciate you playing the full clip. What you are dealing with right now is a political environment where now anything I might say or any major surrogate might say is going to be twisted into the lens of race. That was never the point, not the idea.
I just want to, just to clarify my questioning of you. Sure. I mean, I understand that this idea that you said it was better. You didn't use the words better. But when you talk about that time period, you're suggesting that because the Black family was together, they were better off than they are now.
See, this is the problem, Abby.
So are you saying that that's not the case? That the Black family was not better off when they were, in your words, together?
Abby, let me put it to you like this. In the Jim
Crow era.
Let's agree on something. I am, obviously one of the better communicators in the Republican Party. I know how to put words together. I do it very, very often. So I'm not going to say something that I do not agree with. What America is seeing right now, especially Black America, is the gaslighting that unfortunately does happen in politics, where you take my comments and you want to weave your own political viewpoint into what I said. What I said is very clear.
I asked you to explain because I wanted to. What I want to undo is understand what you're saying here. Because if you're making a comparison, you're saying the black family was together then, they're not together now, and you're using that to try to say that things are bad now. Well, first of all, let me just to set the table here. By pretty much every available measure, black families, black individuals in this country are better off today than they were during Jim Crow. Would you agree with that?
Abby, of course I would. I'm not making that point, and this is the problem. What the Democrats, what Hakeem Jeffries did on the House floor, what Jamie Harrison, what the president of the NAACP, what the Biden campaign, because they're the ones who started this. It was really the Biden campaigns who are trying to cherry pick everything. They're trying to twist my words into saying something. I never said that. What I was talking about was specifically black families. And the point that black families being together is a great thing for the black community. And you do have to acknowledge the empirical fact that before Lyndon Johnson's policies and the welfare state that was created in the United States, I'm not talking about good, bad, or indifferent.
But what about
black families were, black marriage rates were significantly higher.
Well, what about
They're
other
rising
things
again
that might
in
have,
America. That's a good thing.
What
We should
about other
celebrate
things
that
may have contributed to the maybe the decline in marriage rates, which, by the way, is not unique to black families. That's happening actually across racial groups. But what about other things? I mean, what about redlining? Do you think that had an effect on the black family? What about mass incarceration? What about the war on drugs, which was pushed by a Republican president whose advisor said it was specifically to target black people? What about all of those things?
Look, if you want to talk about redlining and a lot of the other policies that were put forward, quite frankly, by the Democrat Party, if you're going to go back to Jim Crow, because Jim Crow was Democrat policies.
Well,
that's what that was.
I know that you know this.
Don't cut me off when I'm trying to make a point,
let me just. Abby. I have to correct a factual point here. I know that you know. I know that you know that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party of today are ideologically not what.
She went down the wrong road because when she went there, she had forgot that Jim Crow was Democratic policy along with redlining, and he's going to talk about the crime bill. It's like she didn't even come prepared for anything other than to race bait. And after this clip, I'm going to show you exactly what Hakeem Jeffries did on the Congress floor. But I'm going to show it to you in another light because I'm going to show you young black men how they perceived what he said.
They were during Jim Crow. You know that, Congressman. So to suggest that, the Democrats of 1920 are the same ideologically as the Democrats of today is inaccurate. So just, you can continue, but
that's not totally true, Abby. And I think if we want to have that conversation about the policy positions between Republicans and Democrats, we can have that conversation. But
one of the other
Abby,
things,
do you want to have a conversation?
One of the other things,
I'm trying to understand how you want to
brought it up, because since you brought it up on the conservative thing, the other thing that you said was Black people voted more conservatively. Were you talking about them voting for Republicans?
In part, yeah, because that's just an empirical fact. That's what we know. That did happen. And the only corollary that I am making is that when families are together and now you're trying to find a way for you to build wealth within your family unit, you're thinking about public policy in a myriad of ways. Because at the end of the day, you want your children to be able to stand on your shoulders. I was very, very fortunate. My mother was able to build a platform for me to be able to stand on and to be able to achieve. Same for my sisters. I'm a very blessed individual because of that. My only point is that when you have a family unit, husband and wife living together, striving together, grinding together, raising children together, you start thinking about public policy in a myriad of ways. And my belief is that dynamic allows people to start thinking about public policy in a much more conservative way as opposed to a much more progressive way. That's my point.
That might be, I mean, I think you're a Republican, so you're entitled to that opinion. But I think what people are taking issue with is you made a couple of statements of fact. And one of the things about, I was asking you about whether you were talking about Black people voting for Republicans. In the time period that you're talking about, the LBJ time period, they started voting for Democrats. And the reason is because of civil rights, because a Democratic president was passing bills that gave them rights: the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act of 1965, the Housing Fairness Act. So do you acknowledge that when Democrats Black voters vote for Democrats, it's actually because there's a history there. There's a reason that they voted for Democrats in that time period, not because they were just getting welfare money.
Abby, let me be clear. I don't deny that. I think it's also important for the record to be clear that you had the vast majority of Democrats in the Senate were filibustering the 64 Civil Rights Act led by Robert Byrd, who, by the way, was a mentor to Joe Biden when he went into the United States Senate. So if we're going to talk about the history, let's talk about it clearly and completely. Republicans have been the ones who were pushing not just the 64 Civil Rights Act, but the other 4 Civil Rights Acts that occurred before 1964. That's the history of the country. I'm not denying
there were Southern Democrats who opposed.
Can I finish my point? All I'm asking is to finish my point.
On the facts here, there were Southern Democrats who opposed the civil rights bills, but
yes,
a majority of them voted for it. It was also led by a.
Now, Robert Byrd was a Klans member who was Joe Biden's mentor. She didn't come prepared. Now, I want you to see what these young people have to say. This is the youth.
Behind the scenes stuff that we can't even post on YouTube. We're posting about politics, just random viral funny stuff, and sports, you name it.
America, Joe Biden's campaign is lying to you once again, and they're gaslighting. Now they're trying to say that I said Black people were doing better under Jim Crow. I never said that. They are lying. But why would you be surprised? Because they always lie. This is the same Joe Biden that said, if you don't vote for him, then you ain't Black. The man is a liar. Sorry, just call it what it is. What I said is that you had more Black families under Jim Crow. And it was the Democrat policies under HEW, under the welfare state, that did help to destroy the Black family. That's what I said. And I also said you're seeing a reinvigoration of Black families today in America. And that is a good thing. So don't listen to the lies from the Biden administration. I know what I said, and I'll say it straight to camera. They got to run to the Philadelphia Inquirer to move their lives. Joe Biden does not care about Black people. He never has. He cares about power. First, second, and third. They can go somewhere with all that. See ya. America, Joe Biden's campaign is lying to you once again, and they're gaslighting. Now they're trying to say.
Yeah. I did see where they posted him. They took his clip out of context. He replied.
They got a video right there.
Speaker, has come to my attention that a so-called leader has made the factually inaccurate statement that Black folks were better off during Jim Crow. That's an outlandish, outrageous, and out-of-pocket observation. We were not better off when a young boy named Emmett Till could be brutally murdered without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when Black women could be sexually assaulted without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be systematically lynched without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when children could be denied a high-quality education without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be denied the right to vote without consequence because of Jim Crow. How dare you make such an ignorant observation? You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
He thought he ate with that one. So he is.
He thought he ate.
Who put Jim Crow in place, though?
Democrat.
Nobody wanted to say that, though.
Doesn't fit their agenda. Let's go to what he actually said.
I grew up with my mom. My dad and my mom.
I wanted to show you how the young people, these young men, knew that he was lying, and they knew that the Democrats actually put Jim Crow in place. That's why we call Joe Biden Jim Crow Joe, because he was under Byrd and he was a devout segregationist. So even the young people understand the Democratic tricks and how they're not working anymore. I want to show you one more clip. Check this out. Because they want to say that Donald Trump is the most divisive. Y'all tell me if this looks
Hey guys,
divisive
we're
to you.
finally on X, so smash that follow button. That Cartier family, hitting with the Z for your dick, guys. We're finally on X. Exclusive behind the scenes stuff that we can't even post on YouTube. We'll be posting about politics, just random viral funny stuff, and sports, you name it.
The president is now on TikTok.
It's my honor.
But I said it.
Trump is here, man. Come on now. We had a conviction.
He made a TikTok last night.
Yeah,
His video TikTok got like 24 million views. He has 1 million followers. Joe Biden has like 200 posts and doesn't even have 500K. He didn't have 400K. Like
Donald Trump got TikTok.
Now he has 1 million in one day. Joe Biden's been posting on his TikTok for months and only has 300K.
The people have really
spoken, man.
They have spoken.
We can go as far as
London.
We can go as far as bringing up the TikTok now. This shit is just farther and farther. Okay, let's go. The president is now on TikTok. It's my honor. But I said it.
Trump is here, man. Come on now. We had a convicted felon. Let's put on a show for this man.
Technically, are you one as well? Are you a convicted felon?
Monster got water?
No, I pled to 2 misdemeanors, sir.
Oh, okay.
I can still own a gun and bow and apparently run for president.
Was it cool to perform in front of Trump?
Oh, yeah, dude. Trump is a man, you guys. I think we're all Trumpsters here besides the fucking Canadian. Yeah, no, he...
no horse in the race.
Yeah, no, for sure. As long as not for Trudeau. Yeah, no, man. Dude, Trump is a fucking man. You guys ever meet Trump? You talk to him? You know, like, I thought I wouldn't like the guy, you know? I mean, he hooks up with models all the time, you know? He has a lot of money. Like, I'm a little jealous, but... No, you meet him, and he's actually a solid fucking guy. He asks me how my woman's doing. Like, he gets to know you guys. He's a good fucking dude, man. Good fucking dude.
Asta also with us tonight.
This is a true team by UFC CEO Donald Trump. This is a real tough team. Standing ovation from the assembled masses here at UFC 302.
This is small New Jersey.
The round of applause he's getting right now is pretty staggering. And you had to imagine that's what was going to happen.
It's 10 miles from where he got charged.
I'm a pull up.
Thank you, sir.
Power in the building tonight. That's a funny man right there. Theo Vaughn with us and supporting one of his own, Dustin Poirier. QB1 NY Chang.
Everybody was in the house.
Damn. Teammate Mercedes Lewis also in the building. Former President Donald Trump.
They were going crazy for Trump. Standing ovation.
They were, man. Even Khabib.
Yeah, even Khabib came up to him. He said, I know you're going to end the war in Palestine. He said, we're going to end it. They said, I'm going to get it ended.
Khabib, man.
Khabib said that to Trump. Yeah. Kevin Holland freaking broke dude's arm, went straight up to Trump. Broke his arm. Broke it. He should have tapped. He broke his arm. Look, he goes straight up to Trump. I watched this fight. First round, submission. Go straight over to Trump. Straight over to Trump.
You think somebody got respect for Joe like this?
No, they would never come over to Joe Biden like that.
Not even a everybody was here started to blow up the fight at Joe Biden.
We might wait to see.
Snap that arm. Snap that boy arm. That's a horrible position to be in. No, he should have tapped.
He went to the president straight out there.
No, so did Sean. Sean took a picture with him.
Make sure you cut that off.
Sean took a picture with him.
That's legendary.
And Trump put his arm on him. I said, damn.
So I hope you enjoyed looking at these clips and seeing that the Democratic politics is not working, not even with the youth. No, they want to act as if Black people do not understand the history of this country dealing with Republicans and Democrats. They want to act as if you say, make America great again, that's some type of racial thing, even though they live in America. Y'all don't like this shirt. Y'all don't like this Black Lives MAGA. You know what I mean? Because I live in America. You think I don't want it to be great? I want to make Detroit great again. How about that? So, it's Thursday morning. Let you get on with the rest of your day. Support the channel. You know they be taking your comments down and unsubscribe you. Support the channel. Also support Detroit's Black Thought and Action Collective. It's a nonprofit in Detroit. And its Cash App is in the channel description. support the movement. Signing to you out of Detroit. Peace. Y'all keep your head on the swivel. Salute to all patriots. Peace.